All righty. Trade rumor-ooski over the weekend. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, said the Cowboys were among teams that were interested in trading for Jalen Ramsey. And the story arc was fun. When the report first came out, it's a lot of money. I think it's at $21 million for Ramsey. So I thought, wow, if you're really going to go after this, then maybe they're going to get the Dolphins to eat a bunch of the salary, or maybe the Cowboys are thinking like I was thinking, like, hey, we've done a lot. Why would we do all of this and then say, hey, let's leave a big gaping hole in the middle of our defensive line and try to start the season with Kaiir Elam and an injured rookie in our nickel? Like, how could you possibly do this? I thought it made lots of sense, even though it wouldn't be consistent with how the Cowboys team build. So, I mean, would you guys do it? I mean, Ramsey's not all pro anymore, but he'd probably be in a good conversation with Deron Bland for best corner on the team, wouldn't he?
Make your team a lot better. I mean, it would be one of those where you're still probably having to kick Deron Bland inside. I don't know how much slot Jalen Ramsey's necessarily played. I wonder if he could also freelance and give you some help at safety.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
If you needed it.
I remember when he was coming out, the discussion was whether he'd be a safety or he'd be a corner.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I think that Rod Marinelli, I'm sorry, Mrs. Marinelli, for listening today, which you tend to do. It's crazy. Sometimes I get a text from her. But they were kind of torn. Where do you play this guy? And I'm like, damn, just draft him. As much as I love Zeke, I mean, just draft him and play him.
Why would you play him at safety though?
See, this kind of, it's weird, but that era of the Rod Marinelli evaluation period where he was head of the defense, and they Byron Jones, they couldn't find spots. Like, they didn't know the evaluation, and then Chris Richard was like, Jordan Lewis is too short for me. Yeah, and you're like, well, he's a really kind of a good player.
Yeah.
And he Jordan Lewis outlasted everybody that was against him. I mean, it's like he got the last laugh.
They've been missing a lot at corner.
That's that era of where it came down to evaluating players. How about Hill? Tristan Hill.
Fell in love with him.
There's just it was player after player after player. But to your point, I agree with Wolchuk. I might consider playing him at safety.
Maybe at this point in his career,
Charles Woodson type of a deal.
Absolutely.
Leroy Butler. You could go back. Ronnie Lott. You could go back and just, there's some corners that had good careers that they all of a sudden they played safety, and then they became their longevity lasted another 2-3 years.
So maybe the Dolphins are floating it. Maybe an agent's floating it to try to drum up interest. Maybe there was a preliminary call like you used to call on behalf of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, is there any sort of framework? And the Cowboys said something that was a non-continuer, but maybe there was a little smoke out there. But
sure,
obviously by this point, with what Brian tweeted, I believe Sunday morning, maybe Monday morning, there's no traction to it.
Well, anytime, like I say, sometimes the Cowboys and Jerry get tagged on things that they have no control over. And then, I see people like, and I saw a post you had, and I thought your angle on it was really, really, really good about, hey, this is why. This is why I would do it. This is why I would consider it. I mean, I think you walked people through why, and then you start to think, well, man, that makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Did you see the other one I had where Jalen Ramsey's been talking bad about the Cowboys for at 18 and then 22, he said, I'd never play for them because he's still jammed up they took Zeke instead of him. He really didn't want to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, he was totally against all that. And I, like I said, I just, like what you were walking us through it, and I'm thinking, man, I wonder if this is really, and then I'm like, well.
I bet the Cowboys offered like a 6th round pick and wanted the Dolphins to take half the salary.
I think
easily.
I could not get to the point. I got to the point of, no, we're not going to do anything with Ramsey. I didn't get to the point of, oh yeah, we asked him to take half the salary, and oh yeah, we asked him to swap picks, and oh yeah, all the things like they did with Gilmore and Cooks and, that whole, like, whoa, that's a pretty nifty.
These are the kind of deals we're looking for.
Yeah.
We want to give basically nothing and have you take some of the salary, and we're getting a player who's not even close to the market top.
There's no question
might
he
be a
could
Pro
help
Bowler.
You. No question.
So,
right now.
who do you guys want them to sign right now? Are we fine with Elam, Carson, Ravel?
No.
They need something, right? No. Is it the post-June 1 candidates that we're looking at, or is it Gilmore?
That's to me that's to me the best guy. Ron Guidry was a good pitcher for the Yankees. I think to me that, when you look at the Cowboys, I mean, Eric named off like 4 positions. 2 of them you could probably address, with if you somehow, you just got to be ready for a June 1. You got to be ready. There might be somebody all of a sudden that teams get through the OTAs, the mini camps. The last thing they do before they hit the break for a month is to make, okay, we're going to move our roster around. That's I think the Cowboys are ready for that. It just depends on who. I think they're going to chase positions, Dawson, like when we were out there when they were chasing defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to chase some positions. And try and churn a position. They get out there and it doesn't look right.
Yep.
Keep churning, and maybe you kind of get a guy here or there that is playing for you, maybe not at a Pro Bowl level or anything like that, but plays at a high enough level that it gets you something, that gets you through a difficult time.
We had Jaden Blue talking with Bleacher Report Gridiron over the weekend. Picked Jahdae Barron for defensive player or defensive rookie of the year, and himself for offensive rookie of the year.
That's some Texas love right there. I love Jahdae Barron myself. I think Makuba at Philadelphia is going to be a really good fit for them.
Yeah, I mean, both of them I think landed in great places.
Yeah.
For Makuba, and then in Denver with Patrick Surtain, and he can be outside, inside. I mean, but Blue, dude, I mean, he might end up being your leading rusher at the end of the season. That would not surprise me. I do think Javonte Williams is going to end up being better than we think right now. He's going to be your RB1, especially if he's back healthy. I mean, he's a guy that can run in between the tackles, bruiser. I like that compliment with Javonte Williams and Blue. I think that's going to end up being your 1-2 running back.
I wonder if that's a churning position. That all of a sudden it's like, we could do a little bit better here, and maybe they find maybe somebody play the waiver wire a little bit.
I want to give Javonte Williams a shot here, and he said it's
Maffa.
He finally feels it. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's Maffa. I'm open-minded to any of these guys.
I'd love for them to prove me wrong about Maffa. I'd love that, because I was thinking about some other guys, Allen from Syracuse, different players, and Krosky Merritt from Arizona, New Mexico. I was thinking about him. I just hope that maybe Maffa is this guy. Maybe he comes in with, if you look at Blue, Maffa, and then Hunter Lipke as the kind of the third guy, that maybe you could have something there.
Well, hopefully, they got options, and if not, it's not the most difficult position to improve on. Now, let me ask you this, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, with this Javonte Williams offseason edition, what would be the more likely Sean Payton involvement? I call up Jerry Jones to say, hey, I got to let this guy go because we're going young, can't afford him with the cap and all that, but you guys should get him.
Yeah.
Or I'm Sean Payton, I understand offense, and I know Javonte Williams can't play, so we're letting him go. Which one is more likely?
I think it's the latter of the two.
I was wondering that over the weekend.
I think there's no question, though, that there was probably a call placed from here to Denver, Colorado to ask. And Sean, I'm sure, was very honest, and he's like, but what did Sean do? He addressed his situation. So
they got RJ Harvey.
This draft was littered with young studs.
Yeah,
it was a good time to move on.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys didn't have a great opportunity until the 5th round.
Sean was going to tell them, hey, the guy is smart. He'll pass block. He'll catch the ball well. We just couldn't get anything in the running game going with him. That's probably what Sean will say.
So we'll check a Giants blog, or is this an actual website, put Jackson Dart ahead of Dak Prescott in their quarterback rankings?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
That's press pass revocation.
Yeah, they tried to argue it with when you look at just how much Dak's making versus possibly if Dart hits, then you've hit the rookie quarterback contract. You got to put their situation ahead of the Cowboys situation.
If
That was the reasoning.
And butts were candies and nuts.
I guess if you're being super hopeful and you're going full big picture, but not right now, not today. That's a ball sack report.
Yeah, their power rankings in the NFC East were Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart, or veteran, whoever starts, and then Dak.